You didn't grow up poor in the dramatic way. No hunger, no crisis. Just a quiet, permanent kind of not enough. Your family worked hard. Every single day. And still, the math never added up at the end of the month. Nobody told you money was the enemy. But you watched what it did to the people you loved. The stress, the silence, the arguments behind closed doors. So you learned the first rule without anyone saying it out loud. Don't want too much. It only makes things harder. Your family had a phrase for people who dreamed big. They'd shake their heads and say, those kinds of things aren't for people like us. And for years, you believed them. Not because you were weak. Because when everyone around you says the same thing, it starts to sound like the truth. School came and went. A job came next. Something stable, something safe. That was the plan. That was always the plan. But every Friday when the paycheck landed, you felt the same thing. Is this it? Is this actually it? One night, everything changed. Not because something big happened. Because something small did. You read about a man who grew up with less than you. Not a little less. Way less. And he built something worth millions. And the first thought wasn't, I wish that was me. The first thought was, why not me? That question, why not me, is either the beginning of your life or the most expensive question you'll ever ask. Probably both. You didn't announce anything. You didn't post anything. You just quietly started learning everything nobody in your family ever taught you. Income. Investing. Business. Compound interest. Words that felt like a foreign language 2 months ago now felt like oxygen. You told your cousin one evening, just casually, that you were working on something, building something. He laughed. Not cruelly. Just like you'd said something adorable. Your family's reaction was quieter but heavier. Your mother looked at you like you'd said something worrying. Your father said nothing, which somehow felt worse. You started your first thing. It failed in 3 months. Not dramatically, it just ran out of money and stopped breathing. You started a second thing. It lasted longer. 6 months. Then it died too. Quietly. No funeral. The comments started. Not loud. Just small, consistent, wearing you down the way water wears down stone. Still doing that thing? Your uncle. Every single time. Still doing that thing? Like a clock. Like a drip. You stopped talking about it altogether. Not because you gave up. Because silence was cheaper than explanation. The grind in private is the hardest kind. Because no one sees the hours. They only see the results. And for a long time, there were no results to see. Your mother sat you down one Sunday. Her voice was gentle. I just don't want you to waste your best years on something that won't work. That hit differently than anything else. Because you knew she meant it with love. And love delivered the same message as doubt. But you kept going. Not out of arrogance. Out of a specific kind of stubbornness that's built from having no backup plan and knowing it. The third thing you built was different. You could feel it. Not in the money, not yet. In the momentum. Something was moving. 6 months later, you made more in a single month than your father made in 3. You sat with that number for a long time before you let it feel real. You didn't tell anyone. Not yet. Because you knew what they'd say. And you weren't ready for the dismissal. Not when it was still fragile. Things kept growing. Slowly at first, then faster. Like a wave that builds so gradually you barely notice until you're already riding it. You hired your first person. Someone to help. A real employee with a contract and a salary. You were 26 years old. You told your family you were doing well. That the business was growing. Your uncle shrugged. For now maybe. These things never last. You looked at him across the table and made a decision. Quietly, without a word. You decided you were done asking for anyone's belief. You didn't need them to believe you. You needed them to be wrong. And you were going to let the numbers do the talking. The next year was the hardest and the best year of your life at the exact same time. 2 things that shouldn't coexist. They did. And then on a Tuesday, not a special Tuesday, just a Tuesday, you opened your account and the number had 7 digits. $1 million. Yours. Your name. Your work. Your years. Nobody handed it to you. Nobody co-signed it. It was yours completely. You thought you'd feel like shouting. Instead, you felt like sitting very, very still. like the ground had shifted and you needed to find your balance. You called your mother. You talked for half an hour. You asked about her week, about the neighbor's dog, about her back pain. You didn't say a word about the number. Not because you were hiding it, because you didn't yet know how to say something that had no translation in the language you both grew up speaking. A week later, you went home. Same house. Same slightly uneven front step. Same sound of the television too loud in the other room. You sat at the kitchen table and you told them. Plainly. No drama. I hit $1 million this month. Your mother went quiet for a long time. Your father looked at the table. Then he looked at you. And something crossed his face that he didn't have a word for either. Your mother got up and hugged you. She didn't say congratulations. She said, I'm sorry I didn't believe you sooner. That was worth more than the million. Word spread through the family. Reactions came in every shape. Happiness. Genuine shock. And yes, the ones who had doubted you the loudest went quiet the fastest. You didn't say anything to the doubters. Because winning doesn't need a speech. It just needs to be real. But here's what nobody tells you about being the first one in your family to make it. The celebration lasts a weekend. The responsibility lasts a lifetime. Your family started calling differently now. Not just to catch up. For advice. For decisions. For money questions nobody knew how to answer. You became the person with the map in a family that never had one. And the guilt, nobody warns you about the guilt. Of having something your parents never had. Of watching people you love still struggle when you have the ability to change that. It's heavy and quiet and it doesn't go away. But then you think about the ones who come after you. The kids in your family who will grow up never knowing what a financial ceiling feels like. Who will start from a different line entirely because you existed. That's what nobody who doubted you could ever understand. You were never doing this for yourself. You were doing this for everyone who comes after you. The ceiling you broke wasn't just yours. It was theirs too. And they'll never even know it was there.